Yo, 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 how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. It's your boy Xavi here from tunecreators.com. And on this podcast, I'm interviewing some of the most talented upcoming artists out there. And my hope is that through these interviews, you're going to learn from them what they're doing that's working and use those lessons to improve on what you're doing and take your music to the next level. So if this is your first time here and that's the kind of stuff that you're interested in, then you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes. Now today, I've got another awesome artist for you. Her name is Bella and she's a 19-year-old singer. Now Bella just released her new single and it's called Shadows and I absolutely love it. It's one of the best tracks I've heard from an upcoming artist this year, and when I first heard it, I was stunned by how polished and how refined the track is. Her vocals, the lyrics, the emotion she was conveying in the track, everything was just well put together that it sounded more like something that a major artist would put out. Really impressive stuff, and I'm gonna leave the links to listen to it in the show notes or right under the YouTube description if you would like to check out the track. Yeah. Now, what I found really impressive about Bella is that she's a student of the game. Not only does she study music at college, she really studies it. I mean, when she finds an artist that inspires her, she goes really deep to learn about the artist. I'm talking about their background, their technique, stuff like that. She's also well in depth and she really is knowledgeable about the music business as well, something that a lot of artists are not, and I found that really impressive. Now on this episode, I and Bella had an awesome chat. We talk about everything from how she got started in music, talk about more about her song Shadows. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of the track. And she gave us a really awesome tip at the end, one that I think a lot of artists need to follow. Yeah. Anyway, I know you're gonna love this episode as always. So without further ado, let's dive into it. What's one album or song that you think every new musician needs to listen to?
Oh my God, this is such a hard question because I literally listen to so much music. But I would say, I think probably everybody would have heard it and it's so mainstream, but Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? That is like such an amazing album, such an inspiration of mine. Like, she's just so cool. And yeah, I love that album. So definitely if you haven't heard it, listen to it. Like, it's amazing.
It is, yeah. Man. What she was able to do with her, it's quite inspiring actually, what they've been able to pull off. Is there any particular reason you like the album besides it's being awesome, obviously? Was there one thing about it that you really liked?
I don't know. I just think it's really different. Yeah, it's just really different and kind of... yeah, it's not like any other artist, really, I think. Just like the sound she uses and things like this, it's very original. And I like that. But yeah.
So cool. So cool. Brilliant. Because why I asked that question? Because I'm using this to listen to as much music as well. I'm letting all my guests introduce me to something that I haven't listened to. But yeah, thank you for that. All right, then. So now let's dive into your background. Right. Yeah. Let's dive into your background as an artist. Yeah. Like to know the person behind the song. And let's start from where you're from. Where are you from originally?
I'm from England, in Surrey. Nowhere very, very special. People always think that I'm like Italian or something exotic, but I'm really not that interesting. Yeah, just England. But I'm half Welsh, that kind of makes me a bit more interesting, but yeah.
There is something about... I was having this convo recently with one of my friends. There's a lot of amazing Welsh singers out there for some reason. Is there something about Wales and singing that is in the water or something?
Yeah. Strangely, yeah, because like when I was a kid, when we used to go on like... oh, my cat's coming. She's like my biggest fan, so she might come in. I'm
a huge fan of cats, so yeah, bring it. Oh, it's like that's Siamese too, you know. Oh wow.
But yeah, when I was a child, like we'd always go on holidays, like family holidays, and like my family would always sing, and it was so embarrassing for me. Like I just remember going to Centre Parks and in front of loads of people, my family started singing, and I was like, oh my God, no, I'm associated with these people. It's so embarrassing. But that's definitely a Welsh thing, I think. It's like music is definitely such like a thing in Wales. Like, yeah.
That is really cool. And that leads me to my next question, which I was going to ask, which is if you come from a musical family, are there any, or is it just something you guys did part-time, or are there any professional musicians in your family?
No, not really. My family isn't really musical. Like, as a child, I always listened to a lot of music, like the radio, that kind of thing. But none of my family are really professional musicians or have much knowledge of the music industry at all, which is good, but it's also not, because they can't help me out much. But yeah, it's quite annoying.
Oh Lord!
But,
so
yeah.
how did you get into music then?
I've always loved music, but I never really thought it was something I could do as a profession or like a job, because it was never really something that was ever said like you can be a musician. I didn't realise that until a few years ago, really. I always had like music singing lessons and was in choirs and things, but I never thought I was very good until I started having singing lessons with an incredible teacher, and she really pushed me, and I can categorically say today I would not be where I am now if I hadn't like met her and had her as a teacher. Like, she just pushed me so much and inspired me into pushing myself further. So yeah, that's definitely the reason. Like, yeah.
That is so cool, man. That is really cool. Yeah, it helps that you have somebody believe in you enough to get you to do this, because of I think you should definitely pursue this. Like, you know, it would have been a shame if you hadn't done it, you know, but that is so cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you're going by you're going by the stage name Bella, right?
Yeah, Bella Hutton is like my name. I might change it, but I don't know. Some people have really cool names. My name's not really that cool. But yeah, no, I'm just going by that at the moment.
Okay. I think it's a cool name. Like, is that something? Are you?
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you like a big critic of yourself, or why don't you think it's a cool name?
I probably am a bit of a critic of myself.
I thought so.
I'm probably my worst enemy, to be honest.
I thought so.
I think everybody is, though, aren't they? Really, but
especially us creatives, we can be very critical about our work and ourselves. Interesting.
Yeah, it's so true.
Interesting. And are you doing music full time now, or is this something you do on the side and have a full time job?
No, I don't have a full-time job. I'm studying music at college.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like my full-time thing at the moment. Yeah, so which is good because I can focus on it like solely.
Yes.
I'm really lucky in that regard.
That's so cool. And what kind of you studying at? Obviously, college. They're gonna teach you, or are you learning how to sing in college, or are you learning the business side of things? Or?
Yeah, we kind of do like all different modules. So I do production, songwriting and performance. Okay. So we get a lot of like performance opportunities and learn how to songwrite basically, which I kind of already know, but it's really good to learn and like, study other artists and how they songwrite and take bits from them and use it for myself, which is really helpful. And then obviously production, which is really good as well. To be able to self-produce would be amazing. I'm not very good at it yet, but hopefully.
Yeah, it helps. I tell a lot of artists this, that you should go learn the basics of production, because that will help you when you're working with producers as well, you know, because you're going to be speaking the same language and using the same terms and stuff, you know.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, that's so cool. Really, really good. Are you enjoying it though, producing stuff? Because it can be very technical. You know?
Oh, I'm like the worst at technical stuff. I hate it. I hate it so much because it stresses me out. Logic, which is the software we use, it's so confusing. It's horrible. You click one little thing and it all disappears. And I'm in my lesson like, oh my God, it's disappeared, help. But yeah, I hate it, but I try. I'm definitely not going to be a top producer anytime soon. I can say that for sure.
See, Jesus Christ. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like Logic, sometimes, when I first started using Logic, it's like, what the fuck is this? But, you give it a couple years or a couple, weeks, months, you get used to it. It's supposed to be one of the easier DAWs out there, music.
I think it is, yeah. From others I've seen, I've been like, okay, maybe it's not that bad.
It's so true. It's so true. But good skill to acquire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest struggles of a lot of artists out there is finding time to actually make music. Is that something you struggle with as well?
I'd say I'm in a very fortunate position because I don't really have that problem. I more have the problem of finding somebody who's committed enough as a producer to actually work properly, because I've been let down by quite a lot of people in the past, of producers who just don't get back to you, they don't reply for weeks, or they start a project and just don't finish it, which I find really frustrating because I'm quite like quite determined, so I want to get things done, and I'm quite an organised person, so when somebody else isn't the same, I struggle a bit with that. But yeah, there are just so many people who kind of like waste their talent, which is really frustrating. But yeah, I'd say that's more my problem than actually finding time.
Interesting. Are you obviously? I can relate to that because there's a lot of unprofessionalism. Is that how you say that? In this industry, because a lot of people just do this as a hobby, and I can see I have come across that. It's actually rare to see people that take it seriously.
Very true.
Yeah, interesting. Is there anything you're doing to, I guess, look for people that are actually coming?
I use Instagram a lot, so I kind of am trying to like scout people out on there, which again is quite difficult because obviously you don't know them personally.
Yeah.
But then you can get quite good recommendations of people they've worked for in the past and things. That's definitely helped me to find people. And I've got quite a good team base who I work with on a regular basis now, who are quite good. But yeah, that's probably how I'm doing it. And LinkedIn as well is quite a good tool to use.
Yeah, I like that.
There's a lot of musicians and creatives on there, so especially at the moment when everyone's bored. So yeah.
So true. Now that's a brilliant tip. Actually, you don't necessarily think about LinkedIn as the place to find musicians, but now that I think about it, you're gonna find more serious people on LinkedIn than any other platform. To be fair, because LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good one. Somebody said that to me, and I was like, I didn't think that actually. I thought that was for boring business people, but no, there are some really good people on there. So yeah.
Good point. Thanks for that. Yeah.
That's all right.
Awesome. All right, now let's talk about your music. Yeah.
Yay.
The fun part.
Yeah. I'm boring.
How would you describe the kind of music you make?
I'd probably say it's like acoustic pop, because I wouldn't put myself in like the pop bracket, because I wouldn't say I'm so much like a lot of the songs in the charts at the moment. I'd say I'm more like piano ballad kind of songs. That's kind of the bracket I put myself in, really.
It's funny you say that, because I was listening to Shadows and I'm thinking, I don't want to swell your head or anything, but I'm thinking this is Adele territory. That's kind of.
I've heard that before. People say that. Yeah, definitely. She's so cool.
She's awesome.
An amazing singer.
She's awesome. So that's a good, very very good. Good start, yeah. That was very good start. Yeah. Awesome. And we've talked about Billie Eilish being one of your inspiration, yeah. We've also talked about Adele. Is there any other musician out there that inspires you?
Definitely the 1975 and Matty Healy, who's like the lead singer. their band was like one of the first songs I really listened to, like on iPod when iPods first came out. They were like the first kind of songs that I started downloading, and I just thought they were so cool. Listened to it and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. This music is like, this is my vibe. These are my people. They're so cool, and like, all their songs are just amazing. And their lyrics are just so clever, I think. They're definitely a big inspiration of mine as well. Yeah.
That's really cool. The one thing I'm getting from you is that obviously you're studying music, so I'm guessing that's part of it, because you're very knowledgeable about your stuff. Yeah. Do you study music in depth? And I know you're going to college, but I know there's some people that actually look at the history, look at how they started of the favorite artist, look at technique, stuff like that. Is that stuff you do? Yeah.
Well, before I went to college, I actually took a diploma level, was it 4, which was really, really in depth about finding out who you are as an artist. And before I did that, I definitely didn't really know the answer to that question. But when I did that exam, because it was so in depth, you really had to research a lot about kind of yourself and like your inspirations and about the people who have inspired you, and also looking at like who inspired them, which is also really interesting. So yeah, I'd say that's probably where I've got it from. I did quite a lot of research and things, so it's quite interesting actually. Like the history of modern music is really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like that. A lot of artists don't necessarily do that. They just want to create their stuff and just put it out there. But I've found out that the more you understand, the more you know the history of the songs or the music, the better of an artist you are, if that makes sense. So. I've been hearing about Motown for so long now, but I've never really looked into them. But recently I started listening to a lot of stuff from Motown. I can't believe the artists that came through them. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh my God, Motown's so cool. And like gospel, I love that. That's so cool. I wish I could sing like that. That's like so cool. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, brilliant. All right, let's talk about the song Shadows. Yeah, man. You even
did the singing a bit there. Very impressive.
Shadows. It's a really good song. It's a really good song.
Oh, thank you.
I really like it. I mean, I saw on your Instagram that you posted this 100,000 streams. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Oh no, God, no, okay. Not quite. Maybe soon, I pray. I've got 25,000 now, which is really exciting. Yeah, and it's just kind of like going up, and it's like really exciting. And I'm looking at the Spotify for artists thing. I'm like, oh my God, people are listening. It's so cool. But yeah.
Definitely a couple streams from me, because I
thank you.
Really cool. Now let's start from the beginning though. What inspired that song? Because it's a very deep song, man. It's full of emotion, melody, and lyrics. If you know the words deep. So what made you write that song?
That's probably like one of the closest songs to like my heart. That sounds really deep, but it actually is. Like the other songs I've released in the past have kind of been like vaguely kind of a situation that really happened, but this one kind of really was like it was somebody who kind of like broke my heart and like left me, which is really depressing, and I think it's happened to everyone. But it was kind of like me chasing that person, but it wasn't them I was chasing, it was more the situation. So that's where I kind of got the shadows from. It's kind of like being with someone and you miss them, but then you don't because they put you through stuff and whatever. But yeah, like, and all the lyrics are quite like deep because of it really did come from like the heart. And I think that kind of makes a good song really, because most songwriters are like, oh, it's happened to me, like, and that definitely makes it more personal, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely sense it. Like somebody listening to it will be able to be asking themselves, "Who hurt you, man?" Because it's like you can definitely feel it. Like listening to it, like it's very well performed. Like
thank you.
Interesting. Okay, and obviously I was gonna ask you to walk us through what you were, what the song is about, but you've given us a bit of that. And but I'm interested though, like your process, your songwriting process. How did you go from idea to finished song? Could you walk us through that process?
I'm like the weirdest songwriter ever, and this makes my life difficult at college because they say, oh, go write a song, but I find that really difficult because like a lot of my friends can kind of sit down and write a song, whereas I can't really do that. I just kind of like am sitting somewhere and I just kind of think of something like a spark moment, and I was literally in the car, in a car park, I think I was even waiting for my friend, and I literally just came up with the chorus. So random, and I recorded it into voice notes, which is probably the best thing ever. And I listened to the voice note back, and it was probably about a year and a half ago that I actually made that first chorus. And I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, that's literally the same chorus that happened, that we used in the song. Like, and it often changes so much, but it really didn't. So I kind of came up with that. And then the lyrics really followed, like the verses and the bridge. And then putting it all together with the producer I work for, who also like co-wrote it with me, the verses and everything, and put it all together, which took a long time. But yeah, it was really fun. And we did it and it sat in Dropbox for half a year. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to play it to anyone. Oh, like, didn't want to finish it. And then he was like, come on, we need to finish it. And so we did. And then I released it. And I was like, oh, maybe people won't like it, but they did. So it's great.
Oh, Lord. Is that you were just worried that people wouldn't like it? Is that why you didn't want to release it?
Yeah. And I was also like, what if the person who it's about listens to it and they know? But they didn't. So it's fine. Because I spoke to them not long ago and I was like, haha, they don't know. So it's quite good.
Oh, good. They're gonna find out eventually.
If they watch this, they probably will.
Oh, good. It's all part of the story of the song. So that's so cool. That is so cool. And it's all that instrumentals. Do you play any instrumentals, or is that all the producers doing?
I play the piano. I didn't.
Okay.
I played. Well, I kind of, as I say, recorded the chorus and things, and I played like a melody on the piano and obviously sang. And I sent it to him and he was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, amazing. I'll make a track. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we obviously worked together. But yeah, no, he's definitely got more musical ability than I have in terms of production and things like that. But yeah, like we definitely worked quite closely together with all the sounds and things, and like the phone ringing. That kind of was all inspired from Billie Eilish's Party Favor. I don't know if you've heard it, but it starts with like a phone ringing, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And there are a few other artists who used it. Khaled as well, he was a big inspiration of that song. And again, the 1975, and the phone ringing took a long time to do. It took ages.
Why is that though? Why did it take that long?
Because I wanted to use like my own voice as like you know, when you ring someone and it goes to voicemail and they have like a automated thing, they're like, hi, it's me, leave a message. I don't have that on my phone, but I wanted to make one. So It took me ages to do it because it just didn't sound right. And I kept sounding like such a weirdo. I was like, hi, it's Bella. And I was like, no, I sound so weird. I don't sound like that. And even the finished article, I don't sound like that at all. And it's really embarrassing because all my friends hear it, they're like, you don't sound like that on the phone. And I'm like, no, it's so bad. But we couldn't change it any more times because I must have done it about 100 times.
What? Wow.
Because I was just like, I hated it and I still hate it now. But yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, I can tell you're definitely a self-critic, like, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it and think anything was wrong with it, because that's the first thing you hear in the song, and it's very intriguing hearing that, you know, you're kind of anticipating what's coming after that, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea as well. Yeah. I'm glad that you didn't think it was weird. Not weird enough to make it 100 times. That is. I know, it's so bad. And he was getting so annoyed with me. The producer was just like, can we just do it, please? And I was like, no, it's all right. But yeah, other than that, it was all fine.
Oh Jesus, that's so cool. That's all part of the fun, I guess, in terms of
Yeah,
creating the
definitely.
songs. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And obviously, the song has been released now, and the reception has been great. Is this your first? I think you mentioned you released songs before, but
Yeah.
why? Yeah, what's special about this one, Shadows? Is it like your first single? Or?
I released 2 other singles, Turning and Take Me Home, but they were kind of really different. And I think I kind of didn't really know where I wanted to go as an artist when I released them. They're more quite a little bit more upbeat. They're both still very me, but I would say that Shadows is more me right now, if that makes sense. But yeah, like Shadows was just more of like a personal song, whereas the other 2 kind of weren't as personal as this one is. So I just kind of wanted to like push it as far as I could, see what would happen. Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, okay. And obviously you've talked about the telephone call and how challenging that was. Would you say that was the most difficult part about making the song, or was there other things you struggled with?
Yeah, it was probably that, to be honest. And just like finding the right sounds, because I kind of knew what I wanted it to sound like. And it's difficult when you know what you want it to sound like, and it doesn't sound like that till the very end. But yeah, like that was probably the only challenge we really had, to be honest.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I really like my favorite part of the song is it the bridge? Is that what you call it? You know, where you start screaming towards the end?
yeah, that was like the bridge bit.
Yeah, I really like that, man. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear you hit them high notes. Yeah, it's a really good song. I mean, people might hear me gushing about it, but it is a really good song.
Thank you.
How did you? You say you heard the song before. You know how you wanted it to be. Did you envision that part as that bridge to go that way? Was that how you envisioned it? Yeah.
Kind of, but not. Okay. No, not really. To be honest, actually, when we were recording it, we kind of recorded the like backing vocals for the bridge bit first, and then my producer was like, "Oh, why don't you do like a really nice ad lib section?" And I was like, "Maybe I don't really like doing that. It's a bit like I don't know. I'm not good enough to do that." And he was like, "Yeah, you are." And he literally just kept playing it and making me do it like 20 times, and then it sounded good. And I kind of like let go and I did it properly. And he's like, "There you go. I knew you could do it. You could have done it the first time." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, that's kind of how it happened, really. But yeah, it ended up sounding quite good in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's difficult to hit those high notes, especially with that intensity. You know, like you did. Yeah, so interesting. Is that I think you should do more of that, more high notes stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Awesome. And what would you say has been the best part of making this song?
Best part. Probably like hearing it finished was like the best thing. When it came back from being mixed and mastered, it was so cool, because I remember I was in the car with my dad at the time and we were driving through London, and the mix and master came through and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so exciting." Played it in the car and it sounded so cool. My dad was like, "Oh, it's really good, I love it." And I was like, "Yeah, but you're biased, so shut up." But yeah, no, it sounded really good and I was really happy with it. That was probably like the best moment. And also doing the photos and everything for it, because I love that kind of side of it and everything. That was really fun. All the images and everything for that was great. Yeah, that's probably the best bits.
That's really good. Like hearing your work come to life, when it's been mixed and mastered. That's such a good. It's an amazing feeling. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
You said something though that I find really interesting. You said you weren't so sure, you know, what kind of an artist you want to be. or the kind of sound you want to create. Have you figured that out? I mean, with this Shadows, is Shadows going to be the kind of songs you're going to be producing, or is that something you're still trying to figure out?
I think so. It's so difficult because, like, literally, I have so many people asking me this question, like, who are you as an artist? And I'm like, I don't know. That's such a ridiculous question. And people seem to expect me to know the answer to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. That's like asking someone who they are as a person. That's such a big question. I mean, you might as well just ask how the universe started. Like, I don't know. I don't know, because like I'm gonna change. Like, I released a song 2 years ago, and I've changed so much since then, obviously. So I would say that definitely Shadows is the kind of vibe I'd like to go for future songs, definitely. But I don't know really who I am as an artist. I kind of do, but I kind of don't, because I feel like I change quite a lot. So. And yeah, I'm comfortable with that now, and I can say that to people. I'm like, I don't know the answer to your silly question. Asking me who I am, it's too big of a question. But yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, interesting. What do you? If I asked you, what do you stand for as an artist? Would that be a better way of phrasing that or asking that question? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know really. What do I stand for? Like. Good music. Like, yeah, I'm not really sure. It's so difficult. Yeah, just like being creative and like feeling comfortable in yourself to create like what you want to and who you feel like at the time. Yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense because of why I asked is because of the standing out in the music industry is a very difficult thing. I mean, you could have, you could be like the best singer, but it's still difficult. Did you know that there's 40,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify every day? I
did know that, and it's astonishing. Yeah, it's so scary because like everybody has now the tools to do it. Like, it's not difficult to get an Apple computer and use Logic. It's not even that expensive, really. True. To do it. Like, it's scary, and it's so difficult to stand out because there's so many people wanting to do the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's such a gamble as a profession.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that the piece of advice I give artists is just go stand for something. That's what's going to differentiate you from everybody. Not necessarily your music, but what you believe in. Something to consider anyway. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll think about that more. Yeah.
All right, then let's talk about, for me, what is even more important than making a song is the promotional side of things and a little bit about the business side. Yeah? You released the song, the reception how would you describe the reception so far to the song?
Really good, actually. I was quite surprised. Like, I've had quite a lot of like people who I didn't know contacting me on Instagram saying, oh, I love this song, like, it's so cool, I can really relate to it. I'm like, oh my god, yay. That's great. And like, I feel like I've messaged artists in the past and they kind of don't reply, and I find that really sad. So like, whenever somebody messages me, I always try and take the time to reply to them. And I kind of get a lot of people asking for advice and stuff. Like yesterday, I had quite a long conversation with some random person. I don't know them, but they were asking for advice. And I'm just kind of like, obviously, I'm going to help you because I would have loved if somebody had helped me. So yeah, like, promotion's really difficult because it's such a crowded market. But yeah.
I think you're doing really good though. Like, like you said, a lot of artists don't respond to fans. I think that's brilliant what you're doing, because you want to start connecting with as many, a lot of, especially newbies, because I speak to a lot of newbies. They don't appreciate the one that takes the time to actually listen to your music. So everybody's looking for the 1,000, with instead of appreciating the little that you have, you grow, don't you?
Yeah, it's so true.
But yeah, that's really good. That is really good. And how has this song reached the numbers it's reached? Are you doing anything to boost or promote the song, or is that just all organic reach?
Oh, it's definitely organic. We had a really good talk at college actually about Spotify and like the algorithms that they use, which is super complicated. It was like a 2-hour talk, so I could not even attempt to explain. I don't really know myself even after that. But a lot of it was kind of like making your artist profile stand out from the crowd and kind of doing a lot of research on how to make your Spotify look really sleek and like professional, like having a good bio, having good photos done, making yourself look professional, making yourself look like you're represented by a label who are pumping money into your profile looking great. And that's definitely helped. Like I got onto so many editorial playlists, which has been amazing, and that's definitely got the numbers up. And from that, then I've got onto like people's personal playlist, which is so cool because it comes up and it's like names of the playlist, like sad songs and a sad face, and they've listened to it like 20 times, and I'm like, oh my god, that's someone's playlist. I have a playlist like that. Oh my god. And I'm in theirs. It's amazing. But yeah, like it's so difficult to stand out. But yeah, I'd say like just doing all that, also like PR work and finding contacts and radio stations as well, because I was really lucky. I got picked up by BBC Introducing, and they had me as their featured artist last month, which was really cool.
Wow.
And again, I had quite a lot of people contact me because of that, which was great, because it's just literally like exposure, and that makes people listen to it. But it just takes a lot of time and patience as well, because most people don't bother to reply to you.
Tell me about it. I mean, I'm reaching out to a lot of artists for this podcast, you know, and I'm not even gonna say the amount of artists that are not even responding to me. Like, come on, you should let's promote yourself.
Really?
And they're like, you know, they're just blanking me. Like, you guys, this is how you know you know, it's how you tell somebody he's serious or not. Anyway, but anyway, that's
yeah. No, when you messaged me, I was like, oh my god, this is so exciting. I went and told my mum, and she was like, oh my god, that's amazing. You're going to be on a podcast. I was like, no, but people are actually going to watch it. So embarrassing, but no, it's so exciting, and I think it's great what you're doing, like giving people that opportunity. And if they're not going to bother to respond, then they're not worth it, really, are they?
You're spot on. Yeah, you're spot on. That's exactly how I see it. That's so cool. I mean, you've given some really awesome tips in terms of promoting, because I like to ask for one tip, or one thing that you're doing that is working really well for you. I'm curious though, that BBC feature, how did that happen? Was that just something that the editors listened to on Spotify, and then
they have a website which is BBC Introducing, I think, I can't remember, but I just uploaded my song to it, and they say like, we get thousands of entries, don't expect to hear anything. I kind of did it. I always do something with a pinch of salt. I never expect anything from it because there's no point. But I was so lucky. The producer emailed me and was like, oh my god, I love this song. You're going to be on the Wednesday show. So I got on that, and then the day after she said, oh, we loved it so much, you're going to be our featured artist on the next show as well, which was really good. And yeah, it was just really cool, and got loads of people interested in the song and listening as well. So definitely do that, because it's free to do. And if you get a reply, then it's great. And also, like, just apply to everything. Like, it takes ages, but it's worth it if something comes off from it. So, yeah.
That's brilliant advice. Yeah, that is brilliant advice. Like, this game is such a hard thing, and this is kind of like what I'm working on right now is something to help artists solve that problem, you know. But anyway, that's something on the side. But this is brilliant. You've given us some awesome tips, man. I've totally enjoyed this track, and you know, and your song is really, really good. So I'm not surprised it even got featured. You know, you're probably hearing a lot of this at the moment, so that's cool. And we've pretty much come to the end of our awesome chat. But
oh, it was so fun. I loved it. I was really nervous, but now I'm fun. It's so fun.
I understand. I totally understand. Before we let you go, though, I like to ask for one practical tip from my guest to share with, say, a 16-year-old just starting out on their musical journey. What would that be?
I think just be confident, not cocky. That's what I'd say. And remember that everybody's been there. Even people who were getting 1 million streams on Spotify have been in the place where they were like, oh, should I release a song? Do it, but do it well. Don't do it half-heartedly. And also just ask for advice from other people and message artists who you like and find smaller artists to support, and they'll support you back. If anybody ever messages me, I'd always try and reply. So if you want advice, I'm happy to reply to you and stuff. But yeah, just seek advice from other people. Definitely, a lot of people won't reply, but do it anyway. But yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
That is brilliant advice. Thanks for that. I really like that. Be confident, but not cocky. I like that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think that's important.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quote on Instagram. I'm gonna turn it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Brilliant, Bella. It's been awesome chatting to you. If any of our listeners want to connect with you, catch up with you, collaborate with you, even, what's the best way for them to do that?
Definitely Instagram, because I use that all the time. My name is Bella Hutton _ so yeah, just DM me on there, or Facebook as well. I don't use that as much, but the name's the same. So yeah.